Testing. We are good to go.
Billions of years ago, there was silence, and then a flash, and in that flash there was everything. Atoms, time, space, love, it all came rushing forward, and evolution began its glorious march, and from that march, humans, and with them, war and hate and strife. And it has all been leading to this one moment, to the Let's Fight a Boss 2018 Game of the Year podcast. And there is only one way I can think to start it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brian's old school anime reviews. This time, Brian will be reviewing Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. That's an interesting project. I call it project because we got to break it down into 3 different cores. We've got the original manga, we've got the anime adaptation, and then we've got the anime adaptation. It tells the story of 2 brothers, Edward and Alphonse Elric, as they try to get their body parts back, and their mother.
Equivalent exchange, y'all.
Are we done?
Almost. The drawings are very good, and the story is full of cliffhangers. Fantastic manga.
How many Brians out of Brian?
18 and a half.
Whoa. Guys, welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year podcast. I am sitting here with 2 people. Just people. I'm not gonna build anything up. This is the real shit, this podcast. I'm not fucking around, no silly nicknames. This is serious. This is the most serious thing any of you will hear all year. To my right, still rather furious from that intro, it's Neve.
We're stripped bare.
To my left, still pretty comfortable, it's Brian.
I was really put on the spot. I think I said full battle alchemist. I don't know what I said.
That's entirely my fault.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. And with you always, I'm your host, Jam. Okay, so if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a while, you will know how this goes, but we have in front of us 47 games that we have played this year. And we're going to be using the old school Giant Bomb style of... Last year was the first time I didn't say, oh, we're using the old school Giant Bomb style, because they don't use it anymore. And surely enough, we got a comment being like, wait a minute, this is the Giant Bomb. We're using the old school Giant Bomb choice through elimination, which is where we're going to start at the top of the list, and we will eliminate one by one what we consider the weakest games on that list all the way to the strongest. So the real question I want people to think about is, can a way out make it all the way to the end? Is there a way out for a way out?
Potentially.
Neve, what do you think?
I don't think so. I really wouldn't bet on it.
Sounds optimistic though. I guess, like, as a little disclaimer, like, with this list, we did not play every big release this year. This is completely tailored to our own tastes, and so you're not going to see like Call of Duty on there, not because we think they're bad games, just because we didn't play them, and we don't, they're not really our bag. We don't really care, and so we can't really like have them on here. This is all just stuff we've played. We are going to fight, we are going to argue, because that's the only way this can really go, but we're all friends and it'll be fine.
This is all in good fun.
This is all in good fun. And what I always say at this, the list we end up with is going to be an absolute and total compromise. No one at this table will be happy with this list, and you won't be either, because that's just what happens when 3 people try and make a very subjective list.
Comment from our last year Game of the Year really sums it up. It was, I hate your Game of the Year episode, and I've stopped listening to your podcast because of it.
You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Godspeed, dude. But before we get to the actual slaughtering ground, the actual Game of the Year, we have some mini awards to give out. And we are going to start off with the coveted Best Photo Mode of 2018. The nominees are Shadow of the Colossus, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Tomb Raider. Neve, you love photo modes.
Yeah.
I love photo mode. I really wanted this to be an option. I think I get more out of photo mode than I do some games sometimes. And I've really learned to hone in on what I like about a photo mode. It's interesting to me to see who will win this one.
Okay. Out of these games, which ones of them have a dedicated photo mode button?
Guys, I have something to confess.
What?
I've never gone into a photo mode.
Really?
Never.
I only started doing it this year. I didn't even know Mario Odyssey had one.
All of them but Tomb Raider have a dedicated button.
Wow.
I would consider Red Dead Redemption's a bit harder because it has a dedicated prop. You use the in-game camera to take the photos.
Oh, yeah.
Tomb Raider, you have to go into the options menu, which limits your ability to do action photos because you have to go options, then photo mode, and you can't really click in at a moment just to get that action shot.
Yeah.
So Tomb Raider, I'm going to cut Tomb Raider first. I'm going to say some nice things first. Is like what I like about the Tomb Raider camera mode is I can do animal spotting in a very real sense. I can't get too close to to an animal, or they'll move, they'll run away from me. But I need to sneak up close enough because the camera mode is really tethered to Lara's person, and it only goes out maybe like 1 or 2 meters, which sucks. It's really bad. Like most camera modes are tethered to the central character, but this has no wiggle room whatsoever. But because of that, I have to get a photo of a bird, which I like doing. I'll have to sneak or be like, I'm going to jump and mid-jump hit photo mode before the bird takes off. And I'm getting a lot of fun out of doing that, and I feel like a real wildlife photographer trying to capture these photos. So Tomb Raider, not the best photo mode, but I'm having fun using it.
Sure.
So that's the first one I'm cutting.
Wait, are you sure Spider-Man has a dedicated button? Because when I played it, it didn't.
Yes, it does.
It does now. Okay.
I think it's R3 or something.
Okay. Even so, I want to cut Spider-Man because that's a photo mode in a lame game.
I would argue it's the best photo mode out of the list. I think that's the best part of the game.
You think it's the best part?
Okay, here's my reasons why
it's got good stickers.
But I think you're arguing, Brian, that the game is lame, so it doesn't matter what the photo mode's like. But Neve's arguing that the photo mode kind of makes the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like without the photo mode, I'd be just very bored with that game, but I could make very nice pictures using.
I think
that
that's a
photo
pretty
mode.
strong argument for Spider-Man.
Here's another argument. A thing that doesn't happen in the God of War mode, photo mode, or the Tomb Raider one, is you can't take photos and cutscenes in those, but in Spider-Man you can take photos and cutscenes, and you have a 3D camera. So you can get really cool action shots of big fights that are happening as part of the narrative. So I think that's a real plus for it. And also you can just, it's tethered to Spider-Man, but you have a long tether. So I think it's a really good photo mode. And then just the kind of selfie stuff is really cool, and the sticker options.
Okay, as someone who knows nothing about photo modes, is it a plus if there's a canonical in-game explanation for the photo mode?
Yes and no. Okay, so that's where Red Dead's photo mode comes in. Arthur's given a camera, and he can use the camera to take photos. Arthur can't run or move fast with the camera because it's a big old hunkin' piece of crap. And also the photo, when you look through the camera, is all grainy because it's an old photo, so it doesn't represent the final photo image. So even though it's gives a narrative sense of Arthur going around taking photos of scenery, it means you can't get action shots of Arthur himself. You can't take shots in cutscenes, but it does have this added kind of layer of narrative where you're Arthur taking out your camera, taking a portrait of a person at your camp, or say loads of people, if you're at the camp and they're singing a song, you could join in. But what I like to do is I think Arthur's a bit of a loner, so I make him hang back and silently take photos of everything that's kind of happening, and he's kind of capturing those moments. So I think narratively it works. As a photo mode, it isn't great.
Okay.
So I don't know where I stand with that one, to be honest.
Do any of these photo modes have in-game rewards or a reason
No.
to do them? Because I remember actually the only photo mode I've ever really liked was Wind Waker, because you take a photo of an enemy or boss or townsperson or whatever the fuck, and you take it to this figure maker, and he'd whittle this little wooden figure out of it, and the poses were really expressive, and they had this really nice texture. And I always thought that was amazing, and I'd love to see more stuff like that.
It was really cool, and the fact that you only had 3 film reels,
Yeah.
so you can only take 3 photos at a time, so you had to So there were certain characters you'd only meet once or twice in the game, like
Yeah.
Tetra. So you had to use them very wisely.
I dislike that. I'm a habitual photo taker, so if
I-
I am limited, I really dislike it.
I liked it because it added to the challenge, and like I remember stuff like going back through old dungeons to take a picture of the dead boss so you could get a figure out of it. Anyway, doesn't matter because it's not here. I think we should cut Red Dead Redemption 2 because, to be honest with you, any reason if you have to go through a Red Dead Redemption 2 menu, that is already a huge downside to me.
I'll give you another downside. Arthur's camera is limited to 96 photos, and to delete the photos, you have to go into the Rockstar Social app, and it takes really, really long to manually delete each photo, and you can't batch select and you can't batch delete. So that really like takes away the fun of taking multiple photos with it.
Yeah, totally. Okay, Neve, talk to me about Assassin's Creed's photo mode.
Assassin's Creed, I think, is up there with Spider-Man. It has a lot of freedom of movement with it. You can take it action shots. The one thing I don't like about this photo mode, and it's more of a problem with Assassin's Creed Odyssey in general, is with Origins, Bayek's face animated when he was fighting, so you'd get a good action shot. Cassandra's face is neutral. It's just a neutral... Yeah, because the camera's behind her shoulder.
Huh.
So if you spin the camera around when she's like mid like strike to get a cool like fight pose photo, her face is just neutral while she's swinging an
That's
axe.
because she's a stone cold fucking killer.
Can you change your face at any point?
No, there's no face changing.
Because you can do that in the in Horizon Zero Dawn and in the Uncharted spin-off game.
And in Shadow of the Tomb Raider and in God of War, you can cycle through faces.
Yeah.
You can't change any face with her. But what's good about the Assassin's Creed one is it will let you pop it whenever. So you can be in the middle of an action and pop it, and you can like get really cool action shots. You can get really beautiful landscape shots. It has a lot of freedom, and it's like probably next to Spider-Man, my favorite of the year, really.
Okay. So you don't want to cut it yet?
No.
Okay. Brian,
Yeah.
talk to me about Shadow of the Colossus.
Everything Neve's been saying so far is in Shadow of Colossus, less any stickers. Because it wouldn't make sense for stickers to... It doesn't fit the theme of that game.
I saw some of the photos you uploaded from it, and I thought they were like fucking beautiful. Like I was like, wow, that is really something.
You've complete freedom with the camera mode in Shadow Colossus. And that's a game that lends to itself because it's such a stop and smell the roses kind of game.
Yeah, totally.
Where like, you have a goal, but it's so abstracted sometimes that you're free to explore the map at your own leisure.
It's also a game where like its aesthetic is so important to it, and I think a photo mode really...
Yeah.
It fits in super well.
It's mapped to the down button on the PS4 DualShock 4, which is really cool. It's real simple. Just take a photo while moving the camera or while playing the game while swimming. It's no extra effort to go into photo mode. It doesn't disrupt any gameplay or mess up a pose that you're about to do.
Okay, I think that's a good argument for that mode.
Yeah, I would get rid of God of War then, because like all the stuff that me and Brian really like about photo mode, God of War does the ultimate sin, which I really don't like, is it stops photo mode in the middle of a cutscene and in specific scenes. Like if you're climbing as Kratos, it won't let you take a photo for some reason.
Okay.
It's specific to you being in the world. If you're doing like a special attack, you can't use a photo, but you can do it with standard attacks. It has the cool stuff where you can change faces and stuff, but it's just so limiting sometimes that you only within your own personal like fighting you can really get good shots. In anything else you can't, and it's tethered quite close as well in the same way Tomb Raider is.
Okay, so we're down to our top three: Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, and Shadow of the Colossus. Brian, I'm guessing you're back in Shadow of the Colossus for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Neve, do you want to cut one of yours?
I like taking photos more in Assassin's Creed because I think the environment's beautiful. Like there's a lot of nice different locations and different foliage and different animals for you to take photos of. I like it in Spider-Man a lot because it was so free. Like absolutely any moment you could take a photo. Like there's a bit where you go into negative world and everything is just like boiling and black and weird, and you feel like you should never be able to go into photo mode here, especially like during a cutscene, but you can just pop it in a cutscene and like take really moody photos because of that. So I will cut Assassin's Creed, even though I like it a lot and I got a lot out of that photo mode.
Okay. So how are we going to do this? I don't really have a dog in this fight.
I think with Shadow Colossus, there's just not as many options as there is with Spider-Man. And so, even though one's a good game, one's not such a good game, one has a better photo mode than the other.
I guess with that, we're going to crown our first award of 2018. Congratulations to Spider-Man. I didn't really see this coming.
But you know what? We're gonna have plenty of not nice things to say about Spider-Man.
Oh, nice. Maybe it'll make a top 5. Who knows? Maybe one of
Yeah.
us actually played through Spider-Man recently and thinks it's really fucking good. That didn't happen. But it could. You see, it's exciting, everybody.
I'm just saying to the little guy in the fucking YouTube comments who's like, "You guys are being so fucking mean about
Brian,
Spider-Man."
that's not what our listeners sound like. They're all really handsome and beautiful.
No, he
This
is
is the one I'll go.
Yeah, this is the troll under the bridge, and you know what? Hey, at least that lame game has amazing photo mode.
Okay. Our next category, this is going to be a tough one. The much contested best pet.
Oh yeah.
Brian, would you like to read out the nominees for best pet?
Okay, so I guess best pet this year is quite a.
Packed.
It's packed, and some of them I guess you could say are pets. Some of them you could argue, but
I couldn't argue. I only see pets here.
okay. Boy in God of War, which I assume is
It's Artreus.
Atreus. Okay. The eagle in Ass Creed.
This is Icaros.
Okay. Ralsei in Deltarune.
My little guy.
Haruto in Yakuza 6.
That's a baby.
That's a little baby.
Yeah, it's your pet. Pet babies grow up into children, and then they're not your pet.
Horse in Red Dead. Is that just horse?
That's just your horse.
Come on, girl.
Wait.
Girl.
Okay, well then I'm adding a new one then, which is horse in Shadow of the Colossus. Okay?
Brian, once we've started, we can't add any.
No, you
I
can
know.
add it.
No, I didn't add the Yakuza 6 photo mode.
That's because you...
And we'll be here all
Yeah, but
fucking
you
day.
literally said you don't use photo modes.
I don't.
Why didn't you add it?
Okay, if you want to add it, you can add it.
Okay, horse in Shadow.
I think we should cut the horse from Shadow.
What is the horse's name in Shadow of Colossus?
It's something...
Wanda?
No.
No.
But that also doesn't sound as wrong as it should.
It's like Wanderer,
No.
isn't it?
No, it's not. It's like it's something like beautiful.
okay.
Okay, I'm still going. Okay, Corgi.
Argo.
Oh yeah. Aggro. Corgi and Lost in Vivo. And then I'm not saying I'm gunning for him, but the dog from Detroit, aka Sumo the dog.
Oh, okay. Neve, I don't know anything about this eagle from Assassin's Creed.
What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
The eagle is Cassandra is known as the eagle bearer because this eagle chose to like befriend her and stays with her. It has gameplay benefits. It will mark out enemies. It will mark out like treasure and other stuff. If you were hunting animals, you will kill one. Your eagle will swoop down and try and kill an animal depending on the size of it. Like it'll take out a goat.
Neve, that all sounds really good, but I guess what I'm kind of looking for is like a fun accessory, like some sunglasses. Or maybe like a catchphrase. Does it have a catchphrase?
It doesn't have a catchphrase, but like Cassandra's idle animation, if you wait long enough, Icaros will land on your arm and she'll rub it and scratch it behind its ear, and that's really cute. And when you're on your boat, you can see it flying next to your boat, so it's always with you.
Doesn't tell like jokes or anything. Just
Okay, does the dog in like Vivo tell jokes? No, he got lost and fell down a storm
Did you get to the
drain.
end of that game? Because yes, he does. You get to the end of it, and he's got a big cigar, and he goes, "Oh, Robert, hold you."
Knock knock.
I liked the corgi in Lost in Vivo. I'm pretty good with cutting him. I didn't really develop much of a relationship with him before he got lost down a drain, and I never finished that game. He's super cute. His model's really nice. Fair play to them. He's not going to hang on this list.
All right, fuck that dog.
No, no, he's still a good dog. They're all good
fuck the
dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Fucking Detroit Sumo. Who's this?
No,
No way. Best character in the game. Staying.
Oh, okay. Horse from Red Dead.
No.
Yes.
Okay, which horse are we talking
your
about?
Your horse. Like, you can't just, like, you can name your horse anything, so I'm not going to put down the lesbian from, like, Red Dead, but, like, whatever horse you have.
Okay, but
you
which
mean
your
horse?
Your main horse. Arthur's horse.
You mean we're talking about Wily Tim?
Yeah, Wily Tim, or whatever you named your horse. I don't know, Kirby. Like,
I call him Langer.
Langer.
Okay, I think we need to cut the horse from Red Dead.
Why?
Because it's just, who fucking cares?
Off to the glue factory with you, buddy.
I like to ride my horses off cliffs and try and make it so they die and I don't.
The horses
my
in
God,
Red Dead are
there's-
just cars.
Oh my god, they're so realistic. What are you talking about? And Arthur's like, hello, girl, and like petting them, and it's so cute. If anything happens
When
to my
you
horse,
ram them
I'm-
into a wall, it's fucking funny.
I accidentally killed another person's horse and ran over and used my horse revive to save that horse because it was too traumatic. But okay, we'll get rid of the horse from Red Dead, even though I strongly disagree. Murdoch is one of the things that's keeping me in love with that game.
All right, let's get rid of the horse in Shadow of the Colossus, because let's fucking get rid of all the horses.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck horses. Giant tubular murder machines.
Goodbye, horses.
Yep.
A great fucking song.
Okay, let's get rid of Ralsei and Deltarune.
What the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
I guess we want him for best character, don't we?
What the fuck is Ralsei?
It's a goat in a hat that like is
Oh,
not
another
a pet.
fucking goat in a Toby Fox
Brian,
game.
Brian, let me explain to you how he actually relates to a different character from Undertale, because I really think that's... Okay, I'll cut him. I love you, Ralsei, but yeah.
Only John loves you, and that's where that goes.
No, it's because you guys don't love him. Let's get rid of the shitty bird from Assassin's Creed.
No. He has a gameplay like use and it's okay. Fine, get
Brian,
rid
they
of it. Gross.
put a bird in a game and they didn't even put like a backwards hat or anything on it.
Like how does it... Like, okay, compared to the bird in Aladdin, Iago, how good is he?
Well, he doesn't talk.
Oof.
It does.
What voice actor did they get from?
You?
George Clooney.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does a really good. But like, fine, just cut Icaros.
Bye-bye, birdie.
So we have
Oh.
boy. Ooh, that's them all gone. We have boy.
Time to move on.
We have boy in God of War. We have Haruto in Yakuza 6, and we have Sumo left.
Okay,
One of these things is not like the other.
let's cut that baby, because
Yeah,
that
fuck
baby...
babies.
That baby can't even fucking walk right.
You know what? I have to say, throughout that whole game, didn't talk much, didn't pull his weight, didn't advance the plot, didn't have anything. He didn't have any interesting opinions or like an outlook or like any kind of distinguished. Like he didn't have a job. There was nothing that set him apart from like any regular character, and I found that really disappointing.
He is in one of the best video game cutscenes I've ever seen in my life.
He is. But it was more what was being done to him during that. It's a weird game.
They're throwing a baby around like a hot potato at
Cool.
a shrine.
They have to get him away from, you're not going to believe this, the Yakuza. Or no, wait, I think it was the Korean Mafia.
Yeah, it was the Korean Mafia.
Okay, so we have Boy in God of War versus the dog from Detroit.
Okay, so the boy in Dog
Guys,
of War
there's
is
one thing I want you guys to think
Dog
about.
of
but-
War.
but before we continue here, are our first two awards going to be to Spider-Man and Detroit?
Yeah.
Wait, we don't know who's gonna get best pet. Maybe it's boy.
Is the boy referred to as boy, or is it like boy?
Yeah, it's more like that.
Come here, boy.
Okay, I haven't played God of War at all. I don't really want to play it ever. The actor they have playing Atreus, for voice and motion capture and all that, he's the main guy in that new Jonah Hill skateboarding kid movie. I can't remember the name of that movie.
It doesn't matter.
But he seems like a cool actor, and I wish him the best. And that's two really interesting roles he's been in. And I'm sure he's great as the boy. Is he?
Yeah, he's very good
Yeah,
as
he's
the
good.
boy.
Like, does he make the effort? Does he hustle?
Oh no, his performance is great. And
Yeah.
I would not be like his. You know, he's a child who feels like a child, which I think is really good. I don't feel anything for Atreus or anyone in that game really, but yeah, I didn't care about Atreus at all.
But, like, do you hate him?
No.
Okay, because you know how, like, you watch the Home Alone movies and you watch the first two,
Yeah.
and you're like, Kevin's cool.
Yeah.
But then you watch Home Alone 3 and Home Alone 4, and you're like, I want to fucking kill that kid.
Yeah.
Like, I want to fucking, like, just
How would
throw that kid off
how
a
would you
bridge.
murder the kid from Home Alone?
Oh my god, no.
Okay,
Okay,
so-
let's just cut boy from.
But man, it's a challenge because like he's got traps. Okay.
I'm one of the wet bandits, but I'm like a real fucked up looking wet bandit. I got like a knife for a face.
Johnny Knife Face.
Yeah, I can't even talk.
Okay, so look, what's the argument for sumo?
Sumo's the only character that is not hateable in that game, and even though he's got the worst model and the worst animation,
Yeah, he
he's
is.
the only time I smiled.
The dog has human hands.
And like it's a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, I
Saint
know.
Bernard's very good.
It made me think of Beethoven, and that's a good film, and that's why Detroit gets an award.
Neve, I feel like you have the most like ability to differentiate here to make a decision. Who are you going with?
I feel because it's best pet, I'm leaning towards Sumo. Because he was literally a pet.
Sumo's such a good name as
So-
well.
And yes, Sumo's a great name for a dog, especially that big. And like it was such a surprise when you roll through that window and there's a big dog and you're like, oh no, it's gonna maul Connor, and then it just does nothing because it's a lazy dog. You're just like, I like this dog more than anything else I've liked in this game. So like if Detroit sucks and Sumo's the best thing and God of War is God of War and Boy is Boy, I think Sumo stands out to me as the best pet.
Sure.
Since we
I
put
think
Icarus.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, Sumo is a good thing about a very memorable game full of bad things.
Okay. Congratulations to our runner-up, God of War, but congratulations to the dog from Detroit, Sumo, for best pet. I cannot fucking believe how poorly this has all gone already. We've given 2 categories to games that we have actively voiced our disdain for this year.
Dear listener, it's okay if you want to stop listening at this point.
I would, honestly. Okay, well, at least this next category is definitely not going to be given to a game we dislike. Most embarrassing game. This is different from our biggest shit show. Because this is more just, I guess, biggest shit show is like a PR disaster.
Yeah.
This is just most embarrassing game. And we only have 3 games in this category. But hoo boy, it's going to be tight. Neve, do you want to give the 3 games?
Most embarrassing game 2018. The nominees are Detroit, Become Human, The Quiet Man, and Fallout 76.
We haven't even... Okay, we're kind of breaking the rules here because we haven't played Fallout 76.
No.
But I feel like I've seen enough.
I feel the continuous bag saga. Did you know that continues? Like, after we posted up that episode, a whole pile of people in the comments were like, it got worse. They leaked everyone's information
Oh, I saw that the day after, yeah.
who, like, filed, like, bug reports. So the people trying to fix their games had, like, everything from credit card details to last names and addresses leaked. The literal people trying to make that game better got fucked over the worst.
Yeah, it's... That game has been a top to bottom just fucking disaster. Every aspect of it. Like, the game-breaking bug. Like, how badly it's been received by, like, people who love, like, Fallout game, like, the new Fallout games in particular. Like, I haven't heard anyone refer to him as Todd Howard as God Howard. Now it's just Todd Coward, because everyone's so furious at him.
Whoa.
I don't think he's a very good game designer, but okay.
I think the fact that this game has done such a good job of like scaring us away from never wanting to play it, us never playing it, and we don't have any first-hand experience of any of this suffering. We should probably cut that first.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty strong argument. But maybe we'll see it in a future category. Okay, so this really comes down to Detroit Become Stupid. I don't think that's the name of that game.
Are you
And
sure?
The Quiet Man. Okay. Here's my argument for The Quiet Man. There are people who think Detroit is really good.
They're wrong, though.
They are. No arguments. No one is going to go to bat for The Quiet Man.
No.
Neve, you recently finished The Quiet Man, and you got an achievement for beating it the second time through with audio. How many other people had beat it with audio?
So I did that PlayStation Life thing, and it turns out my rarest trophy to my eternal pain that I don't think I can ever get rid of is playing through the answered version, and it says 220 other people have this trophy. Only 220 other people bothered to play through that game a second time.
You're one of them.
And yep, I'm one of them.
Part of a very special club, Neve.
I'm really happy that not many people played it, because it's just not worth it.
No, you shouldn't play this game.
But then on the other hand, Detroit Become Human, the latest game from David Kage, that, like...
This game does not deserve any further praise.
It's an insult to the minority experience. It literally ends with a concentration camp. Like, I can't express how terrible it is.
This is an awful, awful, sinful game.
I think it's embarrassing because a fandom popped up around it that seemingly has absolutely no critical thinking skills whatsoever. And like they're being sold t-shirts that say Connor Army Rise Up. Like they're like, I think that's embarrassing all on its own.
So this is the fandom that ships Connor with the drunk detective.
Yeah.
Neve does that too.
What was the name of the drunk detective again? I don't.
Frank.
Hank.
One of those.
And
Frank.
and Hank is the owner of the dog Sumo.
Yeah.
Which is the best character in the game. And Sumo appears in their story arc.
Yeah.
But that's the only good thing about that story arc, not this fucking ship that people have sort of latched onto. And the most interesting thing about that ship was that people were seeing like amazing fan art produced out of it. And then people were like, that's so cute that it's like, a buddy cop, but one of them's an android and the other one hates androids. And then they played the game and they're like, what
the hell is this?
This is crap.
Yeah, that fan art really drove the sales of that game. I remember when I first finished it, it was like, who was your favorite character? And Connor was the least favorite. And then by the time like my girlfriend had played it, Connor had skyrocketed to the top of most favorite character because Connor Army had arrived. So I'm really torn because then The Quiet Man is literally a racist incest game FMV experience.
Which would you guys be more embarrassed to have worked on?
Quiet
And
Man.
just to be
Quiet
clear,
Man.
like, that's not
Yeah,
taking
Quiet
away
Man.
from, like, that's not, like, an insult to the hundreds of very hardworking people who had to suffer through these ridiculous top-end decisions. Like, not saying that, like, it's embarrassing to work on these games, but if you were like,
It's pretty embarrassing to be the actors involved in The Quiet Man.
Yeah, no, I think from top to bottom, every aspect of The Quiet Man looks bad.
Yeah.
Like I like the UI in Detroit.
Yeah.
Like there is stuff in Detroit that
It looks good.
looks good.
I'll criticize Detroit a lot, but, like, there were parts of it where I was like, yeah, alright.
And when you finish a chapter and it shows the path branch that you took and it shows the other potentials, that's such a cool mechanic.
When we had that big conversation about Detroit after we had all played it, I was really surprised how differently our playthroughs had kind of worked out. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, like I never saw the concentration camp because I'm pretty good at QTEs, but my girlfriend sucks at them, so she ended up there and I was like, oh my god, it's a new hell. But like, yeah, it can go very vastly different routes.
Yeah, and the fact that you can roleplay those three characters whatever way you want. Like I played Connor as a fucking killer. Just zero enthusiasm for the struggle of Hank. And then I played the other guy. I can't remember his name. The guy, the Rise Up leader dude. What was it?
Marcus.
Oh, I hated Marcus.
I played Marcus as a cold killer as well, who had like zero compassion for his fellow androids. And then the girl character I accidentally
Later as a cold killer.
and then the
You
girl
got her killed.
I accidentally killed her off because I was like, what happens if like you kill one of the main characters and then she just isn't in the game anymore?
Brian, sounds like you're saying there is stuff to Detroit.
Yes.
And I agree with that. I think The Quiet Man takes this one.
I think you're right.
Okay. So I'd like to congratulate our first three award winners, Spider-Man, Detroit, and The Quiet Man.
All three of you shit the bed in your own way.
Okay, I'm going to move on to Best New Character. Not a whole lot of new characters, really. We got Cassandra from Assassin's Creed, Arthur from Red Dead, Primrose from Octopath, and Connor from Detroit. Okay, well, first off, let's get this fucking Cassandra out of here.
Never.
Let's get this
No.
Connor out of here. I hated Connor. I passionately hated him. Although, I hated him less towards the end of the game. I did actually kind of come around to him a little bit. But I really liked Primrose and I really liked Arthur. But I think Connor's gone.
The only nice thing I could say about Connor is the motion capture actor is also a Brian with a Y.
Brian, you've brought this fact up so many times.
And we gotta look out for each other a little bit, but he still played Connor, and I don't want anything to do with that.
He
Brian.
seems like a nice guy as well.
Yeah, he does. He's a streamer now.
That's good.
So if you want to, I guess that's where you go. But if you want to watch him Twitch stream, you sure can.
Yeah, like Connor's still going.
You talk to us about Cassandra.
Cassandra is the first female character you can play in a mainline Assassin's Creed game, and they did a really, really good job with her. The voice actress really brings to that game a charm.
Was there not a sister in the other one?
Yeah, actually, you're right. Syndicate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this, like, you played in between the two characters.
This is the first one where it's like...
You can play the
Here's a
whole
lady,
game through.
you're the-
Yeah,
okay.
you can pick from a male character, Alexios or Cassandra. And I think Cassandra, in the same way that Femshep is a better choice than Imshep, just for the voice acting alone, the same is with Cassandra. The voice actress brings so much charm to her. And she's just a good character. She has these great comedic moments. She can be scary and intimidating. She is buff as shit and tall and cool.
I noticed that.
She can like just kick ass. Like I enjoy Cassandra a lot, and I think if I was playing as any other character, I would have not got half as much enjoyment out of that game as I did.
Is anyone going to make a strong argument for Primrose here? I really like Primrose. I don't know if I see her as like the character of the year.
Primrose, for like a little pixel character, they do a lot with her.
Yeah, fantastic voice acting.
And her storyline is super
Yeah,
interesting.
it's. I think she's the best part of that game.
Yeah, for sure.
She is. And it kind of like her storyline kind of like makes the other storylines like kind of shows them how lacking they kind of are, because hers is so interesting.
And like that's one of
Yeah.
the reasons I was so disappointed with that game. Well, not disappointed, but just I actually really liked it. But I was like, I feel like this could be so much better, because the demo gave you that taste of like Primrose's story, and it was really good, and then the rest of it didn't follow up to that. Maybe that's a conversation for later in the evening.
Yeah.
But okay. I feel like there's a very strong argument for Arthur winning this award.
Me too.
I love Arthur, and I think Arthur actually fixes one of the problems I always have with kind of like choose your own adventure games, if that's a you know moral games where you can play the character either way. I think he's believable as like a lovable, innocent, kind of bedraggled goof in a way, and I think he's believable as just a complete psychopath. And they both feel like specific tailored characters, and I think that's really, really impressive.
Yeah,
and then just like
he's a fantastic everyman.
yeah, he really is, really is. And then like I love, the little bits just like about the woman who leaves him at the train and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a kind of sweetness to him that I like, but there's some malice as well.
Yeah.
I think he's a really, really good character.
Yeah, I didn't finish that game, but I actually went ahead and read some of the story synopsis, and his character goes on a really, really interesting path.
Okay, guys, I think this is a pretty strong 3. Who do you guys think we cut?
I think we cut Primrose.
Yep, agreed.
Primrose, you were still super awesome. We're sorry to see you go.
And then I think Arthur is our winner.
You want to do you have anything else to say about Cassandra?
The best part of Assassin's Creed Odyssey by far. And if you think Cassandra looks cool and you think you might be into that game for her alone, you're probably right, and you should play it.
Cassandra makes me think, man, maybe if this game is cheap enough one day.
She's really good. Wait until you get to like the Pantheon where she has to like fight. It's pretty damn cool.
Okay. Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2 is our best new character of 2018. I can't help feel we're missing a bunch of characters, but I think Arthur would have always been the winner.
He's someone you just want to be friends with.
Or run away from screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would join him in a campfire party for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Next we have Brian presents the best old game of 2018.
Okay. So most of these are games I've played, and then we've sprinkled in a few games that John and Neve have played. We have Bloodborne.
I think this is like our second time nominating this for best old game.
win last year?
I think so.
Bloodborne was our number 2 game of the year 2015.
But then I think it won best old game another year.
I don't think it did, because this is
really?
my first year playing Bloodborne, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
No, the last time it was on the docket was in 2015.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But it lost out to Phantom Pain. Okay, so we have Bloodborne, Virtue's Last Reward, Final Fantasy 15, because someone really played the shit out of it this year, Goof Troop, a Shinji Mikami masterpiece. Pikmin 3, Rhyme, and Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy.
Okay, I'm gonna cut Final Fantasy 15.
Sure, if you
Cool.
want.
Look, for better or for worse, 2018 was a year that I spent a long time with Final Fantasy 15, and I would say that I do have some weird emotional attachment to that game at this point. We went through a lot together, and I did an awful thing to it, and I'm not sorry. I guess to me, Final Fantasy 15 is like a relative that you have both been through a lot of shit, and you've both done bad things, but you're still family. God damn it.
So you're gonna just leave it in 2018 here now where it belongs. You're not gonna think about it next year.
I'll play that Arden DLC.
Jesus Christ.
I'm too far in. I'm too far in. I have to fucking play it. I don't want to. I don't want to be this person.
The next few are a bunch of my games, so I'm gonna cut Donkey Kong 94. I love this game. I still love this game, but I don't want to push it any further
Is
than
that
I need to.
that's the Game Boy one?
Yeah,
That is such an impressive game.
yeah. It's just a Game Boy game called Donkey Kong, and if you've never seen it, you should just check it out on YouTube. It's puzzle platforming at its purest, and it's cool because Donkey Kong is the bad guy, but it's called Donkey Kong. And he plays Mario and he has his triple jump. It's neat. Then let's cut Pikmin 3.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't Pikmin 3 ahead of Rhyme?
Yep. Pikmin 3 is a fantastic game. It's one of the best games on the Wii U. It's made by Shigeru Miyamoto. That guy doesn't really make good games anymore. Doesn't really make games anymore because now he's a creative fellow at Nintendo.
What was that Star Fox game?
Star Fox Zero was one of the later games on the Wii U. That's not a good game.
Oh, he was... yeah, okay.
That's a broken, controlled game. That is not fun to play.
Seemed like it had cool aspects, but the controls were just like, this is insane.
The game is fighting with itself.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. Then I'm gonna cut Goof Troop. Goof Troop gets this high because it is an absolute...
I don't know about that. I didn't play Goof Troop this year. I fucking love Goof Troop.
Some parts of Goof Troop are a bit frustrating to play, but the game is still completely playable, and you could play that game and beat it in 2018.
Okay, talk to me about Rhyme.
Rhyme was a PS Plus game that came out this year, but I think it came out the year before. But that's a really lovely game that feels like a GameCube game that never existed.
It's really visually pretty.
Yeah, and I didn't know what the narrative was about, but you kind of discover what the narrative is as it goes on, and it's really sad. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to spoil it, but if you do have it saved in PS Plus and you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend it.
If you feel it should be ahead of...
It's one of my favorite games I played this year. It just doesn't get to be...
and it's also a game, it has not gotten a lot of attention either.
Yeah. It's made by Tequila Works, and they did a fantastic job with it. And it's on most systems. I do recommend it.
I think it got kind of pretty harsh reviews, which I think kind of sucks.
The controls are weird because it's got the same controls as GT or as a Rockstar game, where like the dead zone on a character takes a second or two to wind up their running animation, and it doesn't really work in that environment sometimes when you have to carry a barrel to a location.
Yeah. Neve, talk to me about your experience with Bloodborne.
I've always kind of been afraid of the Bloodborne and just Dark Souls because I heard they were so hard. So I avoided them for a really long time until I played Dark Souls 3.
Neve's kind
and
of a
loved
casual gamer.
Yeah.
I don't
Neve,
know why.
could you tell people your hour count for Overwatch?
I think it was like 937.
Jesus,
937
I don't care
hours.
if you're sharing that with your girlfriend. That's insane.
It is. I don't
Neve,
even like that game.
Your Overwatch hour count was nearly as much as my total games played. Well, it's like 400 hours below, but still.
Yeah. And then it was Destiny 1, and then it was Destiny 2.
That was the upsetting one.
Yeah.
How much, Neve?
320, and then it was 200 for Destiny 2, but that's Destiny's 2's fault. Anyway, I kind of avoided Bloodborne for a while because I thought I wasn't able for it, and this year I kind of I tried, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was spectacular. I love the world design. I love the characters. I love the mood. I love the mystery. And even playing it for the first time in 2018 and kind of reaching out on Twitter and being like, what the fuck is this? Like, I had people theorizing with me and being like, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. And like, these mysteries aren't solved or even solvable. They're only theorizable. And I love that about it. I love that it has this forever secret to it, this forever unknown quantity, and this forever kind of feeling of exploration. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I love its aesthetic, and I can see why Brian spends as many hours, because that was his number one played game.
Yeah, I've the better part of 200 hours in that game.
That's crazy.
Having Bloodborne on PS Plus in the spring of this year was amazing because
The whole Return to Yharnam thing.
yeah, just because everyone was suddenly playing it again, and you could summon like hardened players or new players and help them. I replayed through this game twice this year. Once with the PS Plus version, and then when I came back from Japan, I had bought a Japanese copy of Bloodborne because I associate Bloodborne with my first trip to Japan because it came out the day I went to Akihabara and there was a queue for Bloodborne, and I thought, that's really weird. And so I bought the Japanese copy that comes with a little mini art book, and I played through Bloodborne in Japanese also. And a fun little detail about Japanese Bloodborne: when you defeat a boss in big English text, it says "You hunted," which is fucking brilliant. It's one of my favorite games ever made.
And you just cut rhyme, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so VLR.
Virtue's Last Reward.
Virtue's Last Reward, sequel to 999, visual novel game that I spent a lot of the year playing through. This is one of the most frustrating games I played all year. This is one of the best experiences I had playing all year. This game is impressive to me because it explores concepts that I have never really seen explored in video games, and it uses like the mechanics of video games to express them. And like the whole concept of the game is it's basically this giant flowchart of all these separate points where you can make separate choices. And the point in that game that really got me was like when some of the characters start to express that they can see across the flowchart and see what's happening. That's not a big twist or anything. The game kind of just sort of unfolds naturally. But like, that was really incredible to me, and like the way it took kind of scientific concepts and worked them into story and made them characters, and it was fantastic. There is so many drawbacks with this game. It is so frustrating, and I'd be so close to actually recommend it to someone unless I was really sure that they'd love it. But this was one of the best gaming experiences I had this year. I think I'm pretty happy to cut it because it is a very me game, and I think you would both hate it for different reasons. And so I don't think it should be the Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year old Game of the Year 2018.
I think I would love what it's doing when it talks about like string theory and like, you know, multi-dimensions and all that kind of stuff. I think I'd love that. The barrier for me is just the visual novel aspect.
And you have about 20 hours of visual novel to wade through before it starts getting into that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. I love it. I think it's a fantastic game.
Maybe it'll show up in Best Old Game next year. Who knows?
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe I'll play it.
I mean...
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to play it, Niamh. But if you play it, I don't think you're going to play it much. So, congratulations to Best Old Game, Bloodborne.
I'm glad that Bloodborne has gotten a Let's Fight a Boss award.
Yeah, me too.
You silver medal, you.
I've drawn so many Eileens. She's so cool.
A hunter must hunt.
Okay. Our final sub-award of the evening. The coveted Let's Fight a Boss biggest shit show of 2018. I thought we weren't going to be able to have this category, and then the fourth quarter happened, and holy fucking god, so much went wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna list. Brian, why don't you list the nominees? You seem excited.
Okay, we got the Telltale Games Closure. We have the Rockstar 100-hour work week. We have The Quiet Man and Square Enix, Boss Key Studios, IGN Plagiarism Fucko, the Sonic movie poster, and Fallout 76.
Okay,
I'm gonna add one more.
go for it.
The Riot sexual harassment case.
Oh shit! Yeah, absolutely.
Riot Games.
Yeah.
That's going in. What the fuck, video games? So I guess these are mostly PR disasters or
Yeah.
just an individual.
That's kind of what I think we like to focus on. It's a PR disaster, but where it gets really high up there for this award is when there's a problem and then the public response makes it worse. Like just a ongoing shit show.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we gotta cut the Sonic movie poster.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I added that in. Now, I think that would be a much stronger contender if that second poster hadn't leaked.
What second poster? The leg one?
No, the one of actual Sonic.
That isn't an actual. That's an internal poster. That's an old design. He doesn't
Yeah.
look like that.
Well,
That's-
fucking scratch that. Okay, well, no, I'm not cutting this then. No way. That Sonic poster is insane. That looks so crazy.
Okay, so-
and how
yeah.
does anyone think that's a good idea?
There are 2 official posters and then one boardroom prototype poster.
Okay.
The 2 official posters are the silhouette with the blue behind them, and it lets you know that this is not a familiar silhouette of Sonic. The other one is him on top of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco with a blue streak of piss coming out from between his legs.
Did you see the Jim Sterling Photoshop of that?
No.
He added in like a pixelated blue dildo just to the
Oh
bottom.
my god.
Yeah.
So it's like shooting a stream. It's bad. It's bad.
And then the internal prototype is just Chris Pratt leaning on the fucking roof of a car with fucking Sonic.
But I think that Sonic was cute. Like I was like, I like that.
Yeah, he does not look like that. He doesn't have the quads of
Okay.
the other one.
Oh dear.
So I'm really curious to know how the boardroom, because you know how you hear these stories about Hollywood boardroom people, and like the most famous one is the Kevin Smith story about John Peters
I love that
and
story.
him being like, I want Superman to fight a spider.
That Kevin Smith, John Peters story is better than any Kevin Smith film.
Oh, absolutely.
And I like some Kevin Smith films, but
Yeah.
that story's amazing.
But like, I do think this Sonic movie, it's a boardroom people going like, make his legs bigger.
He runs a lot, so he probably has really muscular legs.
Yeah, and just like people looking at the designs and going, nah, we can't use that.
My favorite.
This is a movie.
One of my favorite things from this was something Brian said when it's like they took the style of Pokemon and then pushed it 10% too far, because that's what it is. It's like 10% too much, but that 10% is everything. Like now it's in the weird fucked up valley where it doesn't look
I'd
right.
say it's 60%. Like, those are human ass legs.
But the Pokemons
Oh,
were
God.
50%, but it was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because like I really think some of the designs in Detective Pikachu are like teetering on uncanny.
Yeah.
But like you kind of roll with it. But with Sonic, you're kind of like, nope. Close
It's
the
just
door.
a hairy naked man in runners.
Yep.
It's just like,
I hope he has like.
he just looks extra naked because he's not wearing socks or anything. It's just a naked furry foot in a shoe. It's just so terrible.
Do you think he'll have any sort of like?
Gloves?
No,
Shoes
no,
and
no.
gloves.
He doesn't have gloves.
Do you think Sonic will have like an implied bulge? Like someone was like, we have to give him like
I think there
more
should be- I think there
masculine
should be-
energy.
I think there should be secondary action on his scrotum.
Oh my god.
And
You
he's
think he's abs?
oh, he's shredded. And
Like
he's
Sonic should skid and come to a stop, and his balls are like,
and he's voiced by Jean Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Oh,
And Eggman is fucking Jim Carrey
yep.
because he's doing real good these days.
god.
Can you imagine them being like, but they like the Pokemon posters, or they like the Pokemon trailer?
What are we doing wrong?
Everything.
Yeah. Let's cut it because that's still going on. That might appear again next year. Who knows?
I guess this shit show has only just begun.
Because that film's out in November 2019, I think.
Really?
Yeah, like that film's out.
Right on time for my birthday.
Yeah. So happy birthday. Let's see how we get on.
Yep.
What's Boss Key Studios again?
Boss Key Studios was Cliff Bleszinski's studio
Oh yeah.
that released god, the fact that I can't even remember Lawbreakers, and this was basically I wouldn't say Overwatch clone. It did have its own stuff going on, but this was a character shooter game in during the precipice of character shooters, and this was like it got more destroyed than Battleborn. Like its numbers dropped. It's on Steam. Its numbers dropped to double figures like within a couple of days, and it was just a disaster. And it was embarrassing for Cliff because he had talked a lot of mess about kind of like criticizing, like kind of shit talking Overwatch, kind of like being like, it's like, this is an anime. This is like, I like to think of these characters as more, director of Kill Bill.
Quentin Tarantino.
These characters are more Tarantino than that. And it was like,
cool, man.
And it died a death. And with it, Boss Key Studios, because then they tried Radical Heights, and that did not work out.
I want to add to this as well. He was on his Twitter saying, well, at least I took care of my employees. I offered months of severance. And then an employee underneath was like, I think we measure months differently because I only got 3 weeks of severance. And Cliff was like, oh, I was being like, hyperbolic or something. And he was like,
I was being a liar.
Yeah, I was lying for Twitter clout, but the reality is he didn't take care of his employees that much at all.
I don't want to cut that just yet then, because people lost their jobs. Let's cut The Quiet Man before that, because like...
I guess we've given that game its due.
Like, I think the biggest shit show in terms of The Quiet Man was just that it was shown at E3 on like the main stage.
You're right.
And they shouldn't have done that.
They haven't, like, Neve, they did do some interview about it, didn't they?
It was like, it's a very tailored one on the Square Enix one. Like, it was like, it was less an interview and more a promotional piece of material about how it was going to change everyone's life.
Yeah. But then I would cut Boss Key Studios because people lost their jobs, and that's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But there's worse employee situations on this list.
Okay, I'm happy to cut Boss Key Studios. Telltale Games closure. Now this was bad because this all came back to one guy, basically. Remember there was the big Kotaku article?
Yeah, I think it was Jason
Schreier. Yeah. And it sounded like really bad management. I think by the time it had all come out, it was kind of too late and it was closing, so I would be maybe inclined to cut this one.
They didn't get any notice about their closing. They didn't get any severance either. I would probably hold off. I'd probably cut Rockstar before I cut Telltale, just because people lost their jobs and like people were really hurt about this more than...
Yeah, but to me, that is less like a publicity shit show as opposed to just like a sad thing that happened to people.
Yeah.
What do you think, Neve?
I get what you mean. I think we could probably also, maybe if we're thinking the same thing, like the Riot Games sexual harassment case is kind of ongoing, so we don't even know where that's going to end up.
Yeah.
It was really awful, especially there was one case that we all read the blog post, and it was like a girl working in the Dublin studio, so it was very close to home as well.
It's our turf, damn it.
Like, it's all shit and it's all awful, and I feel really bad for those employees. But because it's ongoing and we don't really know much more information, I think it's fine to cut it now. Okay.
That leaves us with 3. Rockstar 100-Hour Workweek, IGN Plagiarism, and Fallout 76. I think the reason why the Rockstar one is such a kind of strong contender for me, not sure it's the winner, but like, you have Rockstar, a new Rockstar game coming out, all the positivity in the world. People are excited. People can't wait. And then one line from one interview, and it blew up on them so badly. Like, that was all people were talking about in the run up to the game. And then when the game got released, it's like, people started talking more about, the mechanics and stuff. But that game's whole, like, preview cycle felt hijacked by that one thing. Like, it was a disaster for them.
And it's just something that's in the back of your mind sometimes when you play it.
Yeah, when you're playing it and you're going through that really detailed world, and Arthur's like very laboriously going through a drawer, and you're just kind of like, is this worth it? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, and you do, it is in the back of your mind when you play.
Totally. The IGN plagiarism fucko.
Yeah, let's get his name up. His name is Philippe Muchin. He was the Nintendo editor of IGN, and he stole Boomstick Gaming's Dead Cell review and pretended it was his own. And then he issued an apology, and it was the most condescending.
It was a non-apology.
Yeah.
I don't think, did he even apologize to Boomstick Gaming?
No, he didn't.
No.
He wished him the best. This dude lies so much that he believes his own lies.
You know, I don't hold it against you. I don't hold it against you that I stole your fucking review.
And he opened it up and he was like, first I want to talk to my fans. Like, it was such a YouTube apology kind of thing where it was all tailored for him to be able to move into the next part of his career without anyone judging him.
I can't believe he was trying to make that move.
Yeah.
Like, he's done.
It was so blatant and so horrible. I've never watched someone like it just like the word shit-eating grin, just like a total shit-eater, like lying through his teeth.
Yeah, just
but,
a
like,
nasty person.
it was so fucking frustrating to watch. It's like, how can you post this? He's a psychopath or something. Like,
And again, I have seen plagiarism happen, like with stuff. There's been times where, like, looking back on videos, I feel like I've sailed too close to other people's work. I've seen it happen where people will, repeat points I've made and stuff. I've never felt it got to the point where it was like, here, because that shit just happens, stuff lodges in your brain. This was word for word and nearly point by point. And it was just a disaster. I thought IGN handled it well, but, like, to me, it's him that was the shit show, and his response was the shit show. So I think maybe we keep that one for the moment.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think we cut Rockstar because I think Rockstar was really bad. I don't think it hangs with IGN plagiarism, or Fallout 76.
No.
What do you think, Neve?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Guys, Fallout 76 has been a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, they are, as an entire body of a company, Bethesda are not recovering from this.
The thing is, though, I think they could.
Oh, they will.
I
They
think
shouldn't.
this is going to be a No Man's Sky thing.
I don't think they're going to support this at all. I think what they're going to do is they're going to try out the next Elder Scrolls trailer, the next, like, their new other game, their sci-fi one, and people will be like, all forgiven, a story game, and people will just forget about it. I think this is just going to die. Like, they're going to let it die. Because I don't see them supporting it. They barely support any of their games. Why would they support this one? I think this is, like, a really cynical, shitty cash grab they did, and it felt cynical from the start, and it only proves to be as, like, cynical with how much shit has come out from it. They just were never ready to, like, launch an online game, and I don't know why they did it.
Money.
Yeah.
But is it a bigger shit show than the IGN plagiarism?
I think it is a bigger shit show because I think the IGN thing was handled very well by IGN and Boomstick. The problem is one person, and that one person, hopefully, we never hear about again.
Oh, we won't. They're done.
Yeah.
I would hope.
That was really ominous. You cracked your knuckles as you said that.
Yeah.
It was like, we won't.
I got a plane catch after this. Okay, I think I am leaning slightly more towards the plagiarism, but if you guys think 76, I think that's fine. I think I could go either way with this.
I think it's 76 specifically because the people who stuck with Bethesda with this were their biggest fans. And they're the people who bought the Power Edition armor set. Like the people who
with
spent
the helmet that doesn't fit on anyone.
And with the non-canvas nylon bag. And then who got their information leaked.
Yeah.
Like the people who were there day one and there was no tools to report abuse and stuff. The people who got most fucked over.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. The abuse case?
Yeah, the people who got most fucked over by Fallout and by Bethesda are the people who love the Fallout series the most and were willing to take a chance on the online game because they were like, I love these games and I love the studio, and they're the ones that got fucked over.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, makes it the biggest shit show.
Can't argue with that. Congratulations, Fallout 76, for the biggest shit show of 2018. Hell of a category this year.
You managed to achieve what I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the others.
It's impressive. It surpassed The Quiet Man. It surpassed the Sonic movie poster. That's impressive. That is astonishing.
You should be ashamed and embarrassed. You fucking suck.
So 2018, we had a lot of shit shows. Hopefully 2019 will have less, but who knows?
Oh, I hope they're fun.
Yeah. I
think
hope
maybe
there's only 3 and they're all good material, but nothing more, and nobody is I hope nobody gets hurt.
Or loses their job.
Yeah. And guys, that's going to do it for day 1 of the Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year podcast. Come back tomorrow and join us for the main event, the showdown, the final thing that will ever happen in human history, the Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year Awards 2018.
That's it, boy. There, boy.